This is the Eclectic Discussion Podcast.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's EDP, Eclectic Discussion Podcast. It's me, Eclectic. So, continuing on with Saturday morning lineup shows. I did 80, 81, which bled into 82. So, this one is going to be 83, bleeding into 84. So, 83, 84. Again, in this era, back when you had Saturday morning cartoons and you had to get yourself ready, get your bowl of cereal, get your blankets, lay on the couch, lay on the floor. There was nothing like it. But let's get to the lineup, because that's what you clicked for. We're starting at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, CBS, Captain Kangaroo. Okay, so it's not a cartoon, but around 84, I think 84, that was the end of Captain Kangaroo, but it was great. So, for the people who don't know, it was a kid show that came on usually on weekday mornings, but for whatever reason, came on Saturday. So, it was like Mr. Rogers, but better. To me. Captain Kangaroo had puppets, and Gas, Treasure House, and Captain's Place. So you had Captain Kangaroo, Mr. Green Jeans, Mr. Moose, the Banana Man. But the reason why I'm including this is because on Captain Kangaroo, we got our first edition, our first appearance of picture pages.
Picture pages, time to get your picture pages, time to get your crayons and your pencils. Picture pages, open up your picture pages, time to watch Bill Cosby do a picture page with you. Picture pages,
Bill Cosby teaching lessons, arithmetic, geometry, drawing through a whole bunch of stuff with Mortimer Ichabod marker. Come on, man. I had to include that. So, cartoons. 8 o'clock on ABC, you got the Best of Scooby-Doo. Best of Scooby-Doo was basically reruns of the old Scooby-Doo cartoons. It was okay. But that was just something to hold you over to 8:30. Also at 8 o'clock, you got the Biscuits. You got the Biscuits and the Flintstone Funnies. Nobody want to watch the Flintstone, or really no one wanted to watch the Biscuits. And the Munchie Cheese. They had the Munchie Cheese and Richie Rich. That was also on, I want to say CBS, but that was, I covered Richie Rich on the last episode, so you can go back and listen to that if you missed it. 8:30 though. 8:30, CBS, Saturday Supercade. So we got Frogger, Donkey Kong, and Pitfall. Atari classics, arcade classics, they got their own cartoons. They eventually added Pitfall and Q*bert, but they were only on like every other Saturday. So this is how it went down. Frogger worked at the newspaper, the Swamp Gazette, and it was Fanny Frog, Shelly, and I think it was just them. And they go out and report on stuff and get in the hijinks. And every now and then Q*bert get hit by a car. I mean, not Q*bert, but Frogger get hit by a car, like on the game, crossing traffic. Donkey Kong was being chased because he escaped from the zoo or the circus, one of the two. And Mario, from the Mario Brothers fame, and Pauline were trying to get him back. So that was what was happening on Donkey Kong. Q*bert was set in the 50s for some fucking reason. It was Q*bert and his girl QT. They had so Coily, Ugg, and Wrongway. They were bullies at school. So the snake, and so you had them, and then his friend. Listen, Qbit, Qval, Qmongus, and Qball. Yuck. But and for some reason, Cuber shot like black goo out of his snout, nose, mouth thingy. I don't know. I don't know. Eventually they had Donkey Kong Jr. cartoon, and he tried to find his father too after he escaped. So Mario and Pauline was trying to find him on Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong Jr. His son was trying to find him. Donkey Kong was deadbeat dad. So Pitfall, and it was Lion, Quick Claw. They went around looking for treasures. Then what else was on Saturday Supercade? Space Ace. Space Ace. No one ever played or cared about. No one cared about Space Ace. Kangaroo. Kangaroo was a great game if you understood it. So they added Kangaroo, and they just protected the zoo from monkeys or something. That was going on there. So that was 8:30. Also on NBC, Shirt Tales.
Who do you call when you're caught in a jam?
Too scared to stay.
Too scared to scram.
It's a cinch.
Yeah, pinch.
You call
Timmy.
Rick, Digger,
Boy, Kip.
And Bogey.
The Shirt Tails.
Who do you call when the going gets tough?
Who do
See,
you
now you talking. This was my show. And for you that don't know, Shirt Tales were created from Hallmark greeting cards. Yeah, don't ask. So you had Tig, the tiger, Digger Mole, Pammy Panda, Rick the raccoon, and the coolest, Bogey, the orangutan. Because he talked like Humphrey Bogart. So they lived in a tree in the park, and even though they talked, they wore shirts that would display their thoughts or emotions. The shirts, the shirt tails. And so in the park, you had Mr. Dinkle that they messed with. He was like the park ranger or custodian or something. He didn't know that they fought crime. Oh, the shirt tails fought crime. My bad. And they had the STSST. I think I got that right. The Shirt Tails Supersonic Transport. And it turned into everything. It turned into a car, a submarine, a jet. And it was hidden away. Nobody saw it. It was a great show. It jumped to shark, though. It jumped to shark when they got Kip Kangaroo and Buck Beaver, and Violet the skunk. Nobody cared about any of them. But Shirt Tails, proper, great show. Also, this is still 8:30. Little Rascals on ABC. So this had the Little Rascals living in the 80s instead of the 20s or 30s or whenever the Our Gang shits was popping. Buckwheat was an inventor, and they hung out the treehouse and got into trouble. I only watched it a little bit. I was watching Shirt Tales and fucking Saturday Supercade. So that got you to 9:30. And then at 9:30, the video games and toys kept going because on ABC, after Little Rascals went off, you got Pac-Man and Rubik the Amazing Cube.
Hello, my name is Rubik.
Rubik the Amazing Cube Hour. So we all know what Rubik Cube is, but he had powers. It was an evil magician that had the cube, and he fell off a coach when he was driving somewhere, riding somewhere. Then the magician tried to get him back, and the guys, the kids that found him, it was Lisa, Carlos, and Renardo. They helped keep him away from the evil magician. And then every now and then they drop him or he'd fall and they get mixed up. And the kids had to solve him to get him back so he could use his powers. He had a little head on the cube. Listen, it's 80, it's 83, man. What do you want? CBS, Dungeons and Dragons, talked about that last show. NBC, the Smurfs was on. We talked about that. So that'll get us to 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, CBS had the Dukes. So the Dukes of Hazzard had their own cartoon. And so it was the Dukes and Daisy. They were in a race against Boss Hogg and Roscoe. They was in a race around the world. And the prize money was, I don't know if they say how much the prize money was, but the Dukes wanted to use it to keep the Duke farm, and Boss Hogg wanted to get the land of the Duke farm, so if he beat them, they couldn't get the money to save the farm. So that's what that was. But the thing, the thing was, the cartoon started with Coy and Vance because this was around the time when Bo and Luke was on strike or didn't report to the show, so they rolled him off the show and brought in Coy and Vance. And so it just how happens is that's when they gave him a cartoon. So it was Coy and Vance, but then Bo and Luke re-signed. They got rid of Coy and Vance, and then like the second season it was Bo and Luke. So that was the thing. 10:30, NBC, Alvin and the Chipmunks. Alvin, Simon, Theodore. We know the vibes with them. But we also got the Chipettes, Brittany, Jeanette, and Eleanor. And they fought over the name of the Chipmunks for some reason. Mr. T was on the show. I think Alvin lost Dave's watch and Mr. T helped him get the watch back. Another episode, they were wrestlers and they wrestled Ivan the Terrible. And then they wanted a mother. And so each one of them set Dave up on a date. Then all three women showed up at the same time. Listen, Alvin and Chipmunks it was good TV at the time. 10:30. This 10:30 CBS had Charlie Brown and Snoopy. Decent show. Because if you're used to looking at the specials, then you get Charlie Brown every week. There's some cool things happen on there. Linus let a chick use his blanket, and she gave it to her cat. I remember Snoopy had a baseball team. He managed a baseball team, which is wild because he doesn't talk. Peppermint Patty thought Snoopy's house was Charlie Brown's guest house when she stayed over, so she thought it was a guest house. But Lucy moving the ball on Chuck is always a classic. So yeah, that. And then on ABC had the Littles. Nobody cared about the Littles. If you cared about the Littles, I apologize, but you shouldn't have. 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, you got Mr. T on NBC, teaming up with Mr. T. Great cereal.
Hence the mystery on my show, the best show, Mr. T.
So if we knew Mr. T from the A-Team. We knew Mr. T from the A-Team. And for some reason, Mr. T on this show, on the cartoon, was a gymnastics coach. And he had a team that went with him in a van. This is creepy, but went with him in a van and they solved mysteries. I don't know whose parents are, listen, whatever. So of course at the end of the show we got a lesson. It was an episode where they ran into a ninja in New York. And it was a thief, and they stopped some people from stealing $1 million in Vegas. But like on 18, Mr. T hated flying in the cartoon too, so They'd figure out a way to not get him on the plane or get him on the plane. They found a UFO in one episode. It wasn't a bad show. It was just it was a lot of why. CBS had like some bullshit at 11. Benji, Zax, and the Alien Prince. Nobody watched that stuff. And don't lie and be in the comments and say you watched it, because you didn't. ABC had the Puppies Adventures. No one knows what this stuff is. You would turn and say, "Oh, that's what that is. I'm never going to that channel again." That's how much you know about the Puppies Adventures. 11:30 on NBC. You got The Incredible Hulk and Spider-Man.
You say you like action? You say you like thrills? Well, hang in there, heroes. Today's adventure was webbed up especially for you.
The Amazing Spider-Man and The Incredible Hulk.
Now you're talking about something. The show was basically Incredible Hulk. It was Banner trying to find a cure, for being the Hulk and being on the run from the army, trying to catch him. Stan Lee was the narrator. That was Stan Lee. They had She-Hulk on there. They had the leader. Dr. Octopus showed up for some reason. But then the Spider-Man was just a regular, the Amazing Spider-Man show that we talked about before. CBS had the Bugs and Roadrunner show. ABC had Scooby and Scrappy. Nobody liked Scrappy. 12:30 though. NBC, Thundar the Barbarian.
Thundar the Barbarian. The year 1994. From out of space comes a runaway planet, hurtling between the Earth and the Moon, unleashing cosmic destruction. Man's civilization is cast in ruin. 2,000 years later, Earth is reborn. A strange new world rises from the old. A world of savagery, super science, and sorcery. But one man bursts his bonds to fight for justice. With his companions, Ookla the Mock and Princess Ariel, he pits his strength, his courage, and his fabulous sun's sword against the forces of evil.
Thundar was greatness. It was set in the future. The year was 3,000. No, it's 3994. It didn't look like a cool future at all. Everything was in ruins. They showed DC and LA and nothing looked dope. But anyway, you had Thundar, Ariel, she did magic, and then Ookla the Mock, who I thought was a Chewbacca ripoff, but he was way cooler. He was way better than Chewie. Anyway, so Ookla and Ariel were slaves and they escaped together. Which was stupid, because if she knew magic, how was she a slave? I don't know. Listen. Anyway, they fought magicians and weird people and saved humanity and a whole bunch of stuff. But Thundar was great. And then at 1 o'clock, you had Fat Albert. And we talked about how dope Fat Albert was. So, listen, we'll take a quick break. And then when I come back, I'll tell you about the different stuff that was going down Saturday mornings in 1984. What we just did was a little bit of 82 going into 83. So we're going to do 84 after the break, and then we're going to get out of here. So be back after this.
After the messages, we'll be right back.
I know Cool, and Cool's teaming up with a good balanced breakfast.
Teaming up with Mr. T cereal. It's getting on the team that knows how cool breakfast can be. You get a crispy corn taste with a touch of brown sugar. Teaming up with Mr. T.
It's Cool.
Teaming up with Mr. T. Golden sweet crispy teas. One bite and you're gonna be eating with a team that's teaming up with Mr. T.
It's Cool.
Teaming up with Mr. T.
Back to the show. Superman, Wonder Woman.
Welcome back to the show. Appreciate you sticking around after the break. EDP, Eclectic, it's me. You know it. Otherwise, I mean, there's no reason for you to skip to the middle of the show. 1984, 8 o'clock, NBC, The Snorks. No one watched The Snorks. You didn't like The Snorks. I don't know what I was doing at 8 o'clock, but I was definitely not watching The Snorks. 8:30, ABC, Super Friends, the legendary superpower show. We talked about that. This was still the woke version with the characters that didn't appear anywhere else. CBS had the Get Along Gang, and NBC had Pink Panther and Sons. So I was watching Super Friends, you know. And that series though, that's when we got Mixoplex. And not Micopelic, or how on the show it was Mixoplex. And when they tricked them to say it backwards, it was Klippelskelm. And that's how I knew how to say it. How you really say it? Listen, I don't care. Anyway, 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, ABC. You got the Mighty Orbots. No one cared about the Mighty Orbots. You didn't. The Muppet Babies. Muppet Babies was dope on CBS. We don't need to talk about that. Smurfs again. We don't need to talk about the Smurfs. 9:30 though. We got something new. 9:30 on ABC. We got Turbo Team.
It was a stormy night when a bolt of lightning forced me off the road. My car skidded into a government laboratory where a top-secret experiment was underway. I swerved into the path of Dr. Chase's molecular transfer ray, causing me and my car to become one. The incredible Turbo Team!
Come on. Turbo Team, Brett Matthews. So basically what happened was Brett crashed into a lab in a thunderstorm, and they hit a beam and it fused him and the car together. So Brett turns into his car when he gets really hot, and then back to himself when it gets really cold. And he had a girlfriend, Patty, and then he hung out with Patty, hung out with Alex, and they had a dog, and the dog was Rusty the dog. And they go on adventures and all, and try to find ways to get them back to normal. And they had a monster truck, the monster truck Dark Rider that would show up. It was like Car and Knight Rider with Kit. It was like Car, and they just throw water. Yo, the wild thing was every time he turned into a car, his mouth, the smile turned into the grill. That always weirded me out. They had an episode where they had arcade games or something got sentient, and they were going to attack DC, and they had to thwart that. That was a thing. Well, Turbo Team was dope. 10 o'clock, ABC Dragon Slayer. Great show. Greater video game. Dirk the Daring protects the kingdom from what was it, Princess Daphne, and then the Dragon Singe. And before commercials, this is the best part. So before commercials, he always end up in a situation. Something's gonna happen, and the narrator asks, "What would you do?" So he says something's about to swing and hit him. But he's like by a cliff, and then he'll just say, "What would you do?" And then after the commercial, they show all the different choices he could have made after the break. Like, nope, he died if he did that. Nope, he got injured if he did that, and then so that was cool. But it only lasted for one season. There was some bullshit. 10:30 pole position. CBS, if you know Atari, if you know arcade games, this is the 80s pole position, you know the card game. And guess what? This show had nothing to do with the video game. One season, it was some stunt drivers and a stunt show, and the show was called Pole Position. It was some kind of government car sting or something. It was terrible. You got in there thinking, oh shit, pole position, video game, love the car. Let me.
Hydrofoil mode, Rhodey.
Hydrofoil engaged, Dan. What's behind
Wheels, hovercraft, quick!
What's behind this control?
Nope, not watching that. ABC Wolf Rock TV came on. It was a corny show with Wolfman Jack playing videos and some corny, stupid-looking kids. Nobody cared about that. 11 o'clock, ABC. This is 84, right? The new Scooby-Doo Mysteries. So this one was cool because they had everyone back. So before, in the joint that was last year, in 83, they only had Shaggy, Daphne, Scooby, and Punk Ass Scrappy. But this one, they had everybody back. Fred and Velma. Everyone knows Velma's the shit. Best thing about this was the intro. They had the monsters doing the Thriller dance. I loved it. And that's when you met some more of the extended family, Doobie Doo and Dixie Doo. They were on a couple episodes. Don't ask me. Shut up. 11 o'clock, NBC Kid Video. Kid Video was a guy, and it was the name of his band. And so these were like live kids. It was like for real actors, kids, guys. And they were practicing songs in like the garage, and then Master Blaster transported them into Flipside, which is the cartoon dimension. So the guys are chilling in the garage, portal opens up, suck them in, they turn into cartoons. So, and he wanted them to be music slaves, and then Glitter, these names. So Glitter helped them escape, and the show was them trying to get back to real life and helping Master Blaster slaves while they tried to get back to real life.
Taking you to the flip side.
What happened?
Ay, ay, ay. We look like
Cartoons.
You'll be my musical slaves forever.
And it was basically like male Jim and the holograms. And the band was a real band though. They were a real band. I don't listen.
What's going on
11:30. 11:30. This is the last. I think this is the last thing because it was about time to watch Soul Train, and then go outside and get on the bikes. 11:30. It's not a cartoon, but I had to conclude it. CBS Pryor's Place. They gave Richard Pryor, of all people, a Sesame Street-like show. He had puppets. Pryor played a whole bunch of people. Sammy Davis was on there, Marla Gibbs, Kim Fields, Mr. Miyagi was on there. And they had the dope intro by Ray Parker Jr. of Ghostbusters fame. Come on, listen to this.
Whoa, let's get on over to Pryor's Place. Oh, we're gonna party, so don't be late. Whoa, everyone's welcome at Pryor's Place. Oh, where we can laugh at our own mistakes. You don't have to be perfect to be a part. Just have love and plenty of heart on Pryor's Place. Whoa. Whoa. Let's get on over to Pryor's Place. Oh, we're gonna have a good time today. We got plenty of friends who live in the street. Craziest people you'll ever meet on Pryor's Place. Whoa, Pryor's Place. Oh.
Pryor's Place will return after these messages.
So, that was it. 12 o'clock, NBC had like going bananas. Nobody knows what that is. So anyway, this was this got us up to 84. Well, next time I do one of these, we'll obviously do 85 and 86. So hope you appreciate it. Leave some comments on the Twitter or the Instagram. Actually, if you feel so inclined, a couple of reviews and some 5-star ratings on Apple, that'd be great. Anyway, in the meantime, in between time, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go fix me a bowl of Rocky Road cereal and watch some cartoons on YouTube. Appreciation.